All right, what's going on today, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite cyclist YouTube channel. This week we have a brand new bike rack from the guys over at OUTFITR. But before we get into today's video, if you're new to my channel, make sure you head down below, hit that subscribe button for me. If you already are subscribed, make sure you hit that bell icon right next to that. That way you get notified every time I upload. That way you don't miss any of this awesome cycling content on this channel. So, like I said, we have a brand new rack here from the guys over at OUTFITR. Now, some of you guys are looking at this saying, that looks like a rack you've tested before, and, well, in this configuration, yes, it looks just like a standard 2-bike rack that, yeah, I've tested before from OUTFITR. However, this rack is what they call their hybrid rack, or what I like to call it the 2+2 rack. It's personally my favorite name for this thing. And that's because right now, it's set up in a 2-bike configuration. So right back here, close to the vehicle, you have a tray set up for like an e-bike, a pretty heavy e-bike, up to like 100 pounds. And then up kind of farther away, you have just kind of a standard tray here just for kind of a regular old bike. Kind of a cool configuration just right off the bat. Most of the ones I've tested from them have been pretty much 2 e-bike tray compatible. Still going to be the same construction. Still going to have aluminum trays with the steel structure to it, making it nice, strong, but still a little bit lighter weight than some of the other racks out there. Very nice. Folds nice and easily up and away from the vehicle. But you know what? Let's get to the point. Why is this called a hybrid rack, and why do I call it the 2+2 rack? What's the point of that? So, first off, 2. So you have two bikes right here. To make it a +2, they have an add-on that pretty much goes right onto the end of this guy and adds an additional 2 trays onto there. So, if you're like my family here, me and my daughter love to go mountain biking. Both of us love to go on bikes. So, having this in the 2-bike configuration works really well for just the 2 of us. We can get our bikes wherever we need it to go. Pretty awesome. Works great. However, you know, sometimes my wife wants to come. We want to go on a ride down by the river. Something along those lines. We have a different event we want to go to. We want to bring another bike with us. Instead of having a full separate rack, you know, to carry 3 bikes or 4 bikes, why not just use the exact same rack and just add a nice add-on onto here? So the initial rack here simply bolts into your hitch receiver just like all of OUTFITR racks do. They have a nice anti-rattle hitch pin. This one does come with a hitch tightener. Obviously, you're putting 4 bikes back here. That's a lot of weight hanging off the back of your vehicle, so it comes with the hitch tightener. For what I've tested personally, on the 2-bike setup, you can get away without using the hitch tightener. When you go to that 4 bikes though, that hitch tightener makes a world of difference. So, depending on how you plan on using this bike most often, you might just throw that hitch tightener on all the time, or you may keep it off and just put it on when you use that 4 bike. So, let me show you how simple it is to put that +2, that additional 2 bike racks up here on the top. Okay, so we got the extension piece right down here. So the first thing you have to do, there's a little plastic end cap here. So what I have found, you have to take this plastic end cap off to get the holes to line up. Perfect. So pretty easy. Let's get a fingernail, flathead screwdriver, whatever. That little plastic end piece just pops right off. No big deal. Then you can do this one of 2 ways. You can either lay this rack down and slide in the end like you would just a standard bike rack. In my case, I like to just drop it on the top. This piece it's not near as heavy as the actual rack. So, getting this guy here, just grab the 2 bars, and that just slides right down on the top there. And then your holes will line up. That's the easiest way I've found. That way you're not trying to slide it in all the way or anything like that. So, once your holes are lined up, it comes with a bolt here. It does have an Allen head on this side, and then it's a 19mm here, so it's a 10mm Allen key. That's a big size, especially for bikes. There are some things that use the 10mm, but if you bought an Allen key set, it's got a 10mm most likely in it. So you just grab your bolt. You're just going to slide that through. Washer goes on this side with the nut. Pop that guy on and just tighten them down. And then we just go ahead. Grab our 10mm Allen key right here. You grab a ratchet, impact, whatever you want to use. We're going to use an impact in my case. Now we're just going to tighten that guy down. And that is nice and secure. And there's your 2+2 hybrid rack, now fully formed into its whole 4-bike rack here. It's a beast. That's probably the biggest thing I've seen when I talk to people and show people racks is when they see a bike rack bigger than 2 bikes, they go, that is a big rack. And that is, yes, that is very true. Anything past that standard 2 bike, it gets big. I mean, this is above the tailgate on my truck. So you just gotta realize how big these racks are getting, especially when you go to a 4 bike. And you have to realize that, yeah, they do get pretty far behind the vehicle as well. So pretty simple to install that. Again, removal of that, you just pop this guy right back in, run that out, and you can pop that right back off. It's not the hardest thing. It's actually really easy to do on this rack. So now that we got the full hybrid 2+2 rack assembled, let's go ahead and we'll pull this pin down here. It's our tilt pin. We're going to go ahead and wiggle this guy to get the pin out. There we are. And then we can just go ahead and set this guy right down just like that. There you go. Let's go ahead back down here, put our pin right back through. Got our pin right back through, ready to go. Now, I will say an initial setup on this guy, you are going to want to tighten this bolt that's underneath here. So right underneath the tongue of this guy. So you are going to want to tighten this bolt down under here. You want to get it so it nicely touches up against the rack. And what that's going to do is pretty much help it from bouncing up and down. And in my opinion, you probably want to do this with the whole 4 bike setup, or at least the full, the full rack assembled. That way it has the full weight on it. So this is a step you don't want to skip, because this makes a big difference to this rack. There we go. So you want to tighten up that the rack doesn't move, but at the same time you want to be able to remove that pin at the same time. So you can't move the pin and you can't fold the rack up. So something you learn, just kind of get the right feel for it, and you'll be all set. So what can this bike rack hold? This bike rack does have a 200-pound capacity, essentially set up for a 100-pound e-bike on the most inner one, the closest one to the vehicle. That's how most bike racks should be set up. You should have your heaviest bike on the inside. That's where that position is going to be. And then pretty much with that e-bike, then you have a position for 3 kind of standard bikes, regular regular pedal bikes, not e-bikes on there. So you know, 100 pounds, and then 30, 30, 30, you're at 190. There you go. You kind of got your setup right there with how much weight you should have. Pretty kind of nice, pretty neat. And honestly, this bike rack, I'd say it was best for, like I said, families. You got, mom or dad's e-bike on here. Got mom or dad's regular bike. You got a kid's bike, you got another kid's bike. There you go. You're really not going to come close to that 200 pounds if you're on kids' bikes on here. Those bikes don't weigh anything, man. Those bikes weigh like nothing. So we've tested this rack out before. You guys have seen how this rack actually functions. So it's pretty simple here. So your front wheel is going to come right into this slot right here. Come right into this slot. And then your rear wheel is going to bump up against this block right back here. And then after that, you have your frame contact right here. So your frame contact here, it's a nice movable clamp. It is fully movable up and down. Goes up, down. This clamp is 360 degrees, so you can rotate this however works best to fit your bike. Doesn't matter what kind of bike you have. Step through, solid frame, whatever you got. It's going to be able to fit that frame, no problem at all. So what we're going to do here, we're going to try to find 4 bikes we can put on here. It's going to be semi-easy, semi-kind of tough. So we're going to find some bikes, put them on here. I will say some of you are used to Outfitters racks coming with a ramp kind of built into them, or even off to the side. So this big tray is compatible with a ramp. So you could use a ramp with this. You just need to buy that ramp separately from Outfitters. It still has the attachment points for the ramp. So if you wanted to use the ramp for your e-bike, you just got to buy one separate. It's possible to still use it. You can get the nice folding ones, throw on the back of your vehicle, use it to unload and load your bike. Easy. Don't even got to worry about it. Like, super simple. That's an option for you. It won't work with the regular bikes, but let's be honest here. 30-pound bike, we can lift that. That's not that big of a deal, right? So we don't have an e-bike today, but we do have a heavier bike. My wife just got a new bike. So we're going to put that bike here, and we'll figure out the other 3 as we go. Figure out the rest of these bikes. But let's get this thing loaded. So we'll find 4 bikes, start loading them up on this thing. Oh yeah, so you guys want to see it? 200 pounds. This is easy. Just go hop right up on here. I'm not going to walk out to the end. We're going to go right here. And as you can tell, 200 pounds. No problems at all. Easy. All right. Let's grab a bike. All right. So first bikes, like I said, your front tire is going to end up in that wheel tray over here. Rear tire is going to end up here. So you can flip this lever on this rear tray, on this rear block here, and this thing can move forward and back wherever it needs to go for the wheelbase on the bike. Same thing with this clamp. We can kind of set it down for right now. That way it's out of the way for a second. So, we'll just get our bike. We'll load our bike right on up here. Get that front wheel in that wheel tray. That rear wheel centered up. And we can lean this over, get our arm up to the bike. So, like I said, works with any type of bike frame. So we have a step through here. So we can lower this clamp down. Stuck on the fender. All right. So we can lower this clamp down and kind of find a spot that works. And I think we're going to go right here on the top tube. That actually feels really solid right there. Once that's there, we're going to go ahead and strap through. Get that guy nice and tight through there, and then we can tighten down our wing nut on the back here, and that's going to hold that clamp in place. And you can see, even with just that one clamp, that bike's in there solid. It's not going anywhere. So, since we're on this side, we'll go ahead and do the rear. So we just get this rear block. I'm going to slide it up to the front of the rear wheel there. Once that's there, we just flip our lever down, and that's going to hold that block. Okay, that block's a little loose. We're going to tighten that block up. Then fold it down. There we go. Okay. Block was a little loose. There we go. All right. Put it right in front of there. Fold that guy down. And then we can feed our strap right through the wheel. Okay. And then just same thing for the front. Front's already in the wheel tray here. We can center up our wheel on it. Just like that. Feed our strap through. We can use these nice rubber protectors here. Protect our wheels. And we just feed that right on through the ratchet on this side. And there we go. Got our first bike installed. I do want to tighten this just a couple clicks. There we go. Just like that. First bike is installed. Easiest, simplest rack you can use, honestly. It just works. 3 points contact makes it super secure. Don't even got to worry about it. All right. Go ahead, get our next bike loaded. So, go ahead, pull our clamp out of here, pull it kind of straight. That guy there, let's loosen our wheel straps. Slide that guy forward. All right, so this bike's gonna be facing the opposite way. So they go backwards and forwards, right? So first bike kind of faces the driver's side, second bike passenger side, driver's side, passenger side, you know, kind of all the way down. So, just get you guys back a little bit so you can see a little bit better. All right, so we're throwing mountain bike on next. Mountain bike, we just, same deal. I set it up on the tray. Get our front tire in the hole. There we go. Doesn't want to hold itself, but that's okay. Go ahead, get our clamp up here. There we go. And just same deal. Find where it fits best. In this case, I think we're going top tube again. Yep, right there on the top tube. Looks perfect. Nice and tight there. Same deal with the wheel tray. Up against the tire, center of the tire. Best you can, up against the tire. Flip the lever down. There we go. Feed our strap through and feed our strap through. There we go. Second bike, nice and secure. Don't even got to worry about it. All right, let's throw a third one on here. So I don't necessarily have, two kids, they throw bikes on here. However, I like to bring two bikes. I like to go mountain biking, do a little bit gravel, maybe do a little road. Mix it up a little bit. So, we're going to get the gravel bike here. I will say you do have to play around with drop bars and flat bars a little bit to get them to kind of fit. Especially the drop bars with like a taller bike next to a taller mountain bike. You can make it work. You just kind of got to position them, get them flipped around and hooked the right way, and they'll go right on. Not a huge deal. Pretty easy to do. There's 3 bikes. Last bike, got to get a kid's bike. Got to bring the daughter along with us. What if we do this? Let's take this out. So again, it takes a little bit of work to get 4 bikes on here, on any kind of rack. It's not necessarily just this rack this is a potential issue on. So that's about as good as that's going to get. This guy, just the way the frame has to clamp, it just, this is kind of the way it has to be. So it's going to wobble a little bit on this one, but I think we're going to be okay. I think it'll live. So if anything, that bike's going to move a little bit. Something to think about. 20-inch bikes may not fit based on the bike it is. May need to be a little longer. This is a shorter framed bike for a 20-inch. So the clamp doesn't let this tire sit all the way into its tray. Therefore, letting the tire kind of do that. So, something to think about. Something to think about right there. All right, so we got all 4 bikes installed on here. So, as you can tell, the spacing on these is different than what you normally would expect from an outfitter rack. Most of the racks are very big spaced, kind of like this guy right here. Nice big gap between them. Makes so the bikes aren't really contacting each other. You don't have to worry about pedals or anything kind of touching or getting in the way. With this guy, they kind of shrunk it down a little bit more. And so with that, you got to worry about pedals and frames and forks and stuff like that kind of get in the way of the bars moving back and forth. There isn't that space like some of them have. Kind of a downfall, you got to do a little bit of pre-planning to get everything to fit nicely. A little bit of unstrapping, restrapping, kind of getting everything down. As you saw, it took a little bit of effort to get these three, mainly these two, on the bike, the gravel bike and the kids bike. But we got them all on here. The big tray here fits up to a 5-inch wide tire. So you can put whatever you want on here. Any e-bike pretty much going to fit on here. 5-inch wide tire, no problem at all. The regular trays back here, 3-inch wide tire is the max on those guys. That's pretty much going to fill up this kind of U tray right here. Get you a bike right there. With that 50-inch wheelbase on here, pretty much my Poseidon Norton here in a large, pretty close to about the biggest bike you're going to fit on here, the longest bike you're going to fit on here. I think this is a 48 or a 49, so pretty close to the largest you're going to fit. With that being the case, all nice and secured, 3 points of contact in every single bike, makes them all super secure. Not worried about bikes moving around or doing anything weird. They should work perfectly fine. They should stay on there great. Honestly, if we try and shake this thing, it's honestly not that bad. I mean, it bounces some because, well, it sticks like 4 or 5 feet off the back of your vehicle. So obviously it's going to bounce a little bit. That's a lot of weight behind the rear of your vehicle. Along with that, one thing I will note on this is I am using a hitch extender. So for those with a spare tire, Jeep, Bronco, those kind of people there, you are going to need a hitch extender to make this fit. So that tire does stick out enough that you can't fold up. Well, yeah, you can't fold the bike, you can't fold the rack up against the vehicle, and you can't access that frame bar on the first rack if you don't have a hitch extender. So you either put a hitch extender in there, or OUTFITR does still a swing away for it, which is really nice as well. You have both those options you can use on this, and you'd be fine. That'll space it out enough. But with that, it does add like an extra 10 inches on here. Making it pretty much about 5 foot off the back of my vehicle. Pretty much if I laid down here, it would be about that length. So you do have to realize you have a lot of bike hanging back here. A lot of bike hanging back here. All right, I think it's time we take this thing for a drive. Throw a camera on the truck. Got to figure that out because no glass right now. So I got to figure out a way to mount a camera on the truck so you guys can see what the bike rack's doing, see how this thing handles. But yeah, let's go for a drive. No off-roading today though, for multiple reasons. A, it's been raining. It's been raining pretty good for the past like 3 days, so everything is mud. I am not going in the mud today. I'm not messing around with that. So that's problem A. Number 2 is OUTFITR does not recommend this bike for off-road. Obviously, you have this giant hangover angle here. So if you hit any kind of hill or anything like that, it's going to scrape and drag and potentially get you stuck. So we're not going to go off-road today, but we are going to hit some of our normal roads we hit, which aren't that great. Let's be real here. Some of those are pretty rutted, pretty potholed. Some are smooth. We'll see how it all works. So let's get a camera mounted on the truck and let's go for a drive with the hybrid rack, or the 2+2 rack that I like to call it. All right, I think test drive went pretty good. Other than, I think these bars, you know, a little bit of that. Oh, that's where my sound was coming from. A little bit of that on the saddle. But other than that, and this bike, I think we're pretty good. So let's get these bikes off. So pretty simple. Just go ahead and undo all our straps. It's kind of the first step. Get all these straps off. I'm just gonna do them all. All these bikes are coming off. So let's do them all so we don't forget. All the straps are off. Now we just gotta do the frame straps. Same deal. Push that button. Pop that strap out. There we go. And bike is free to come off. Just like that. Once it's off. Best way I found to store these arms on these is to put them all the way down. Put this back through, of course. All right, lay the clamp flat, and then you're just going to stick it right under the tray. And that's going to keep that arm from popping back up. Best way I found to store those things. So, a little trick for you. All right, we can go ahead feed some of our straps through here for this one. There we go. Next bike. Pop that guy out and go up. All right. There's that one. And I really like how they have the nice padding inside of here. Padding. Keeps the bike frame nice and looking good. Looking good for a long time. You don't got to worry about rubbing a hole or rubbing through the paint or scratching it up or scuffing it or anything like that. Our mountain bike off. Whoop, whoop. And the last bike here. Same thing, just whoop, whoop. There we go. Now I will say for this big one, the arm doesn't quite go down far enough. Not quite sure why, because they're the same things, but the arm doesn't quite go down far enough to get this hook underneath the tray. It's really close. There you go. We can get it most of the way. So it just does the same thing, holds itself in place, doesn't rattle around, not gonna pop out and whack in the head. Rack's all set. We just go ahead, right here, we can pull our pin. And pull our pin out of here. There we are. All right, and with that pin pulled, we can fold this guy up. Line up the hole, and put our pin right back through. There we go, though. Rack, fold up against the back of the vehicle. Ready to drive around like that, or you get ready to store it. However you'd like to do it. All right, I'll say you went ahead, you did your family outing, ready to go back. Riding by yourself, riding with your kid, whatever, just two of you, you know, you don't need the 4 bikes. Simple as it is. Back to that 10mm Allen. 19. Unscrews, super easy. Same deal. You just grab on this, lift up, and off it goes. And once you're back here, you can kind of do whatever you want to do. But from there, you can either leave it like that, or you can just kind of put your nice finish cap back on. There you go. You're set to go for just a 2 bike. After that, you can set the extra add-on off to the side, and you're ready to go. All right, so what do I think of the hybrid or the 2+2 rack here? I actually kind of like it. So it really works with kind of today's demographic, I guess you could say. You want to go out yourself. You're a big mountain biker yourself. You love going out riding. You may have an e-bike. You know, you're all loving it. You're great. You may have a regular bike, but you like to go out riding by yourself. Maybe with your kid, maybe with a buddy. So you get the nice 2 bike rack here. Works great. Then all of a sudden, you know, comes weekend time and your wife wants to go, your daughter wants to go, your buddy still wants to go, your other kid wants to go, and all of a sudden you have 4 bikes you need to put on your car. So instead of buying a full other separate rack, you can just pop that extension, add on right on in there. Nice and secure. Easily converts your 2 bike into a 4 bike rack. Lets you carry 200 pounds on this section here, and then 60 on the add-on. Lets you carry, let's say your wife's not a rider. Your wife's e-bike can go on there. Your bike can go here, and then kids' bikes after that. Really works really well. Really well for that kind of situation. Now, I'm actually a fan of the 3 attachment points. I think they work really well. I haven't had a bike come loose from those ever. I've had other racks sometimes rattle loose just over different terrain. However, the 3 points of contact on here, the frame and the 2 wheels, I've never had an issue with it. Never had an issue with the scratching my frame, marring my frame. I have a flat white bike. Never had it really scuff up a frame, leave some black marks on there. They've worked. They've worked really well. Standard 2-inch hitch receiver for the extra strength on here. Works great. Like I said, if you have a spare tire on here, you are either gonna need a hitch extender or you get the swing away. I would probably go with the hitch extender on this. The swing away is nice, but I would probably go with the hitch extender on here. You already got a lot of weight back here. That swing away does weigh a little bit versus the hitch extender it doesn't really weigh much, right? You're getting the same kind of spacing. So in my opinion, I would go with the hitch extender on this rack if you have a spare tire here. Otherwise, if you have just a standard vehicle, single fit right into your hitch receiver, no issues at all. So as with all of Outfitter's racks, you do get a 1-year warranty on here, so any problems, just give them a call. They take care of you. Make sure you got everything. The instructions for assembly on this, very simple, very easy to follow. Tells you everything you need. They have updated their, at least for this rack, they have updated their assembly instructions. I like them a lot better than I like the old ones. These ones I feel like are a lot more to the point. Get you what you need, find you what you need, get everything put together. I like the new instructions better than the old ones. So they do a really good job with that. Honestly, if you have a family and you don't want to buy 2 racks, you just want to buy 1 rack to do it all. Carry 2 bikes or carry 4 bikes. The Outfitter hybrid rack or the 2+2, this is the rack to go with. Check this rack out. Big thanks to Outfitter for sending me out this rack so I can test out, show you guys a totally different rack than we have shown on the channel before, and show you guys how this can impact you and your family and make riding a little bit easier for you. If you guys are interested in this rack here, there's going to be a link in the description down below. Go check it out. Check out all of Outfitter's other racks if this rack isn't quite for you. They have tons of racks available for whatever kind of price point you're at and whatever your specific needs are. If you guys enjoyed the video, or maybe you found it entertaining, or you learned something new today, give this video a big thumbs up. Appreciate the support. Any comments or questions, let me know down in the comment section below. Love talking to you guys. Love answering questions you guys have. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching today.